Hello, everybody. Welcome to Radio Mythoverse for January the 9th, 2021. First show of 2021. So, it's a new year. We got a lot of work to do, and we've got a lot of it on the way. At the beginning, you heard two songs from the Suburban Swamp Kids. First one being Nude Dude, which is about exactly what you would think it's about. That is off their Tropical Depression EP. After that, you heard our staple Back from the Dead, which is from their EP Personal Growths. They're a fantastic ska punk band from South Florida, so check them out on Spotify or on their Bandcamp page at swampkids.bandcamp.com. I'll put a link to that page in the description below the video. So, hey folks, I'm Dan, editor-in-chief of the Mythoverse. Like I said, it's brand new year, 2021. Just over a week old now, and I can already say that I sure picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. I've been going out flat out since the 28th with the day job, getting Mythoverse situated, writing, getting commissions together for Q1 2021. We're, like I said, we're just getting started. So with me tonight is, as usual, is Brett, the head of our community outreach, and Matt, our lead writer. What's up, guys?
Same old. Although, Leo's around. Cannot promise he won't be disruptive, though.
Yeah, so I heard. How is Leo doing?
Right now, he's just sitting there.
I said, how is he doing?
He's good. He's got a lot of energy. He's pretty hyper, but that's just typical for cats his age. He'll grow out of it.
Of course. How about you, Matt?
Oh, nothing much except for the first batch of Mythics issue 2 comics have reached backers.
Yeah, that was very good news. I've been watching the tracking numbers pretty closely, and was eager to get the first batch of photos. I put out a tweet today saying, if you happen to receive it, please tweet them at us or send them to us in some form or other. And we got a couple of them already, so that's pretty exciting to see them arrive in perfect condition in those nice, big, strong Gemini mailers. So, when did that campaign wrap up?
At the beginning of August.
Back beginning of August. So, 2020 kind of wreaked havoc with our plans. Our printer was, of course, hit like every other business was. They had to work remotely a lot. They had only had one guy handling a lot of the printing and fulfillment, and their workload didn't get any smaller. They've been working with us. They've been working with Brian from the Rags team, who I see is in chat. Hey, Brian. And you're saying mine is still at the old mailbox. Okay. And Brian says, "You mean the 13th month of 2020?" Yeah, well, it's getting there. I'm beginning to wonder if this isn't like, as the meme suggested, Super 2020 Street Fighter Turbo, whatever that is. So, yeah, so the Mythics books have begun to arrive, and that means we have one more to go. Hallowed Harvest. James got that all set up over at Kablam along with Mythics, so it should be next, and we should be getting that out to backers hopefully by the end of the month. I reached out to them and they say they're on track to do that, and they've been delivering pretty well, all things considered. Like I said, they're understaffed. They got one guy doing most of the work, and the rest of them are working remotely, trying to help out as much as possible. But the fact that they're able to keep up at all is impressive, and kudos to them for sticking to it and dealing with a lot of stuff. So, what I wanted to really talk about primarily is I'm really happy that is someone have their speaker on? Brett, can you mute?
Hold up.
Yeah, I'm hearing myself in my ear. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, so 2021's off to a decent start. We have one campaign being fulfilled. We have another one shortly behind it. But what I really wanted to talk about primarily was what comes after that. So recently, we released a video breaking down our plans for 2021, and they're pretty exciting. So with all that in mind, I'd like to take the first part of the show to talk about that a bit. The Patreon has a lot of new stuff coming up. A lot of what I've been working on over the past couple weeks is getting all the commissions in order. For a brand new feature on our $15 tier, but also for new comics that are coming out on the $15 tier. And one of the new features I'm really excited about is one we just put out on Friday, and it is our brand new Not Safe for Work tier. And the beat goes on and on and on. Yeah, Brian's being really distracting in the chat as usual. We launched a brand new Not Safe for Work tier at the $15 tier, and we launched it with a piece from Brian's artist, Luigi Terrell. And I think anyone that's actually had a chance to see it will agree that it is something else. And there's a reason I let off with that one. Interestingly enough, Brett can confirm our future plans with the two characters that are featured in that particular piece do actually coincide with what is going on in that piece. So it is a canon lude, as they say. Would you agree, Matt?
He's muted.
Matt, you're muted. I asked you a question.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, so yeah, it's canon. That actually does happen. It's not just for pure titillation, although that is part of it. But
Cannon boobies.
Canon boobies, yeah. So what we're planning to do with that is to get one of those per week each Friday, and we have a couple in queue, so we should be able to keep pace with that. assuming everything goes smoothly. So very, very awesome. On top of that, we have 3 new short comics in the works, and I would like to show off one of them right now. Okay, so this one right here is the first page of a new short comic called Aptly Bitch. Okay, and this is set shortly after the events of Dropping Out, the 22-page Adobe Kroger one-shot that we released in the middle of last year. And this was written by Dylan Fagan, and it's the art comes to us from a newcomer, Rosalind Summers, a newcomer to the Mythoverse anyway, Rosalind Summers. So this is the first time I've seen her sequential work. I've seen some of her pinup work. This is the first time I've seen her put together some sequential artwork, and very much impressed so far with what I'm seeing here. This is the first page.
She's.
I'm sorry, what?
I said she's amazing with continuity, especially with her sequential art. That's what blew me away.
Yeah. I'll have to say I agree. There's a lot of different character types in here. It looks like a high school hallway, and this type of 2-point perspective isn't that easy to pull off. So she did a very good job here with the lockers and the stairway and the ceiling and all that. So very good establishing shot here. Down here in the inset panel here is our main character. Dylan, since you wrote this piece, do you want to talk a little bit about this character?
Sure. She is a character that Gorgonite created, and I designed a teenage version of her. Her name is Isabel Jean Duffy.
Mm-hmm.
She will go on to become a paladin, of course.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much her introduction.
Okay. Is there anything we can talk about with regard to her later character, or do we want to save that for when the story is released?
That would be up to Gorgonite. I mean, he's right here in the chat, so just...
All right. Gorgonite, if you want to, why don't you talk a little bit about your character?
Gladly. So, yeah, Isabel will grow up to be a paladin, and you will see her on her first mission around 2012 when she encounters 2 goons of a secret villain organization. Other than that, well, just stay tuned for any updates on Forever Damned.
Nice. Okay.
But right here, she gets to encounter a different type of nastiness, which is a drugged out Adobe Kroger.
Well, she's not drugged out at this point. She's grossly underweight, malnourished, and going through withdrawals. Yes, but she's suffice to say she's at the low point in her life, and this is just prior to a very dramatic event in her life. So
I made a joke about Adobe, like swiping Isabel's thyroid medication, like that's mine. She's like, I needed that.
She wouldn't actually do that. Besides, it wouldn't do the trick for her anyway.
Oh, well, I know.
Yeah,
I made a joke
the best
about.
way I can sum up Isabel's character is just be short and sweet to the point about it. Is she's Adobe if Adobe didn't grow up as a fuck up.
Well, to be fair, Adobe had her life fucked up for her. But yeah. Anyway, so that's this artwork here, and you can see it. It's pretty sharp. I've already seen page 3 of it, and it's remarkable. I can't wait to see the finished product here. So this is the first of the 3 short comics that we're going to have out. The second one is actually this one kind of peripherally focuses on Adobe Kroger, but the other one directly focuses on Maeve McKenzie, and that one is called 2 Christmases. And I believe you wrote that one too, Dylan?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do me a favor then and talk about it for a little bit.
Okay, without going into too much, it will show a it'll show a deeper, darker side of Maeve. That side to people that they sort of hide away. You know, that they don't want others seeing. It's like that, and it really shows just how much trouble she had growing up. And it's also a dual narrative with a character that will be introduced later, and it's supposed to show the similarities and differences with them. It shows that even, yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
yeah, you'll.
I don't want to give away too much. I have seen the story, and it's going to be powerful. There's one panel in particular that I think will be especially memorable, and I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think with this story, it's definitely a more somber, melancholic type story. And I mean, yeah, it was gonna be released around Christmas, but things happen. 2020. Um, but I still believe this is definitely like if you're in the mood for something a little more somber and dark. I think this will satisfy a lot of people.
And it will.
If you feel like
Go ahead.
I said, if you feel like getting a gut punch, okay, go ahead.
No, there's definitely a gut punch to be had there, and it gives the readers a somewhat deeper dive into the psychological side effects that Maeve is experiencing after realizing that she is not what she thinks she is, and her two halves are so disparate and irreconcilable to the point where it's beginning to tear her apart, and it really does come through in that story very well. Forrester does the artwork, and I'm very impressed with what he's able. His versatility is, first of all, very impressive. He's while he's doing this, he's also producing a parody Hostess ad for me, which is dead on balls accurate. It looks like it could go directly into one of those floppies from the 70s, where the superheroes would act out a little scenario where they try to trick the villain into eating Hostess cakes to save the day. And it's starring Adobe and Althea as they try to rescue Sasha and all of her priceless strawberry quick from Mason. And I saw some of his panels, and I almost must have got laughing because I wanted him to make it like very campy, and I wanted him to make Mason very obnoxious, and he did a fantastic job. So whenever that's done, it's going straight up on the Patreon, so that anyone that gives us any money at all will laugh along with me. So, all right. So that is that. Forrester is doing some great work for us. So moving on to the third book that's coming to our Patreon. This one is kind of a bit of like whimsical self-indulgence for me because I am a massive fan of all sorts of motorsport. I mean, I follow the endurance series, I follow a little bit of IndyCar, NASCAR, and Formula One, and Formula 2, and Super Formula, and Formula E. So I'm pretty much, I am a motorsport addict. So I decided kind of on a whim after I had a quick conversation with Brett last year that I was going to do an F1 themed manga, a serial F1 battle manga, set in the sport of Formula One if it took place in the Mythoverse. So this story is actually Mythoverse canon, and you're going to see all of the parody brands that the community has come up with plastered all over everywhere in this comic, because in motorsport you can't do jack shit without millions of dollars worth of sponsors. So you're going to see all of our brands all over the cars, all over the racing suits, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, so what this comic is, it's I'm kind of playing off of the journey to acquire or to equal the legacy of a legendary person that you often see, like Naruto wanted to be a Hokage, Monkey D. Rufy wanted to be the Pirate King. Well, this character here, Skip Sparks, she wants to acquire the Triple Crown of Motorsport, which is a real thing. It's an honorary title that drivers awarded if they happen to win 3 of the most difficult races on the planet. And they exist in 3 different racing disciplines, 3 different series. So it's an extremely difficult achievement. First, you have to win the Monaco Grand Prix in Formula One, which is probably the most demanding and punishing circuit on the calendar. Then you have to win the Indy 500, which is, of course, one of the most gut-wrenchingly difficult races and is essentially a meat grinder. And then, of course, you have to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is like worse than both of those put together. So, in order to do this, you have to be able to drive on ovals. You have to be able to drive Formula One cars down a very difficult track, and you have to be able to drive for 24 straight hours with your team on a very difficult track in France. So needless to say, only one driver in our world has ever accomplished this, Graham Hill. And in this world, only one driver has accomplished it. And Skip Sparks is the daughter of a legendary driver that fell just short of accomplishing it. He was on his last race in the Indy 500 and he crashed out. So she is making it her life's work to finish the work that her father was not able to finish. So it's going to be all about destiny. It's going to be all about heartbreak, because motorsport is definitely not a Cinderella sport. You can have everything planned out to the nines and still fail because your engine blows, or your tire hits some debris and punctures out, or your pit crew takes too long getting you out. All that stuff. It's going to have so much opportunity for fun, adventure, and drama. I'm looking really forward to this one. So I found this artist. He will be the second Mexican artist I know of that will be working with us on Mythoverse books. And he gave me this sample page that just completely nailed it. So basically what's happening here is, if you're familiar with Formula One at all, roughly, I don't know, I would say 6-7 years ago, they introduced this new feature called the Drag Reduction System, or DRS, which at certain parts of the track, you can open up the rear wing to reduce the drag on your car to give yourself a slight power boost. So this whole page is just trying to make that simple action as dramatic and as manga-like as possible. So Brian said this does feel very much like a Speed Racer scene, and guilty, it really does, because, well, Speed Racer is all about racing too. But yeah, this is technically accurate down to the last detail. So very much this is what actually happens, even if it isn't this dramatic in real life. It's just like push a button, you get some extra horsepower, and you try to pass on the straight. So this is one I'm really going to have fun with, because, you know, my daughter just, I managed to finally, after a year of promising, I managed to pick her up a go-kart, and she is going to start practicing to get into competitive kart racing. So she's every bit as much of a motorsport freak as I am. And when I told her I was doing this and that it's set in the Mythoverse, she said, well, I want my first sponsor for karting to be the Mythoverse. So one of the first decals I'm going to put on her cart will be the Mythoverse tree. So it's a short way of saying that this is all going to be an extremely self-indulgent bunch of car porn for my own benefit, and hopefully for the reader's benefit too.
Right.
Yay! So there's that. Those are the 3 comics coming out. We got Bitch, we got 2 Christmases, and we got Triple Crown. And Triple Crown will actually be an ongoing serial feature that will be published ongoing on the Patreon, and hopefully some other place. We'll talk more about that later. So, moving on. What else do we have coming to the Patreon? Well, if you've been on the Patreon and been paying attention to our social media, we're beginning to add some extra audio content to the Patreon, where we talk about the history of the Mythoverse, starting from how all things began. So yeah, the Mythoverse now has an official creation myth. So if you're on the Patreon for $1 or more, you can listen to that. And it's about 18 minutes. And I'm going to follow up that first chapter with the formation of the realms and the demon lords and the fae and all that stuff. So as we move on, we're going to move closer and closer towards more recognizable Mythoverse history, to where it would coincide with, actual Earth history. And that will not only be a really good resource for all of our writers, that will also be really fun content for our readers, so they can understand how everything fits together. And we're doing a hell of a lot of work to make sure it all fits together. That's why I started at the very beginning. So it's kind of like a backwards compatible piece of mythology that fits in with everything that Matt and Brett have already written. They've done a lot of work developing all the realms, all the different creatures and factions. And they have this huge document that I made sure not to contradict when I was writing the creation myth. So I think it fits in together pretty well. Would you agree, Matt, Brett?
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. The reason I went with the creation myth is because I wanted to break it down to the most elemental, fundamental forces that govern the Mythoverse, and that is existence and non-existence. It was easy to go for order and chaos, but order and chaos are, in my opinion, subsets of existence, and thus aren't as elemental as you can get. So check it out. It's $1 on the Patreon, 18-minute audiobook. It's, I think, a pretty cool little piece of mythology, and we're going to be expanding on that as the year progresses. So what else do we have? Yeah, we talked about the NSFW stuff. We got the 3 comics. We got the audio content. If you are on the $15 tier, you've been getting our Patreon variants. We had some variant covers done by Troy Mr. Marvel Torres of all of our #1 issues. So anyone that's been backing us for more than a couple of months should have all of those. We also had an exclusive compilation of our Mythochippies webcomic, which was a nice test run at a perfect bound paperback book, which came out beautifully. I'm really happy with that one. Then after that, we had a special 22-page one-shot that Dylan did, and I wrote. It was called Dropping Out, and that is sort of, I guess, in a way, a prequel to Bitch, in that the events which took place in Dropping Out are what got Adobe sent off to the school where Isabella's attending, and that's how they meet up. So now that those are all been fulfilled to everyone, we have a new print book coming out this month, as soon as I get the print file set up and get my proof back. What we're going to do is we're going to take all of the digital comics that we've already released, and there are 63 pages of comics last year, digital and print, that we fulfilled, by the way, to Patreon alone. So that's pretty amazing. And I think Dylan drew all of them. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So this is why Dylan will always have a place with us. The man works. So,
I work too hard.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Yeah. That's why I told you to scale it back a little bit for this year. Just focus on the stuff you want to focus on.
Yeah, he took me off of stuff just so I could relax.
Yeah, well, I've been where you...
Shut up and go on your break, Dylan.
I've been where you are, Dylan. I mean, I did webcomics for cumulatively 8 years, and I really did end up pushing myself too hard a lot of times when I was younger. I know.
You do, Dan.
Yeah, I sure did. I think when I was doing my first webcomic back between 2000 and 2005, there were days where I got 2 hours of sleep for like 3 straight days because I was so driven to get that damn comic done. But anyway, so definitely don't want Dylan to fall prey to that same problem. So anyway, so we got... what was the whole point of this? The whole point of this is that Dylan did a lot of work last year, and we're starting to collect those digital books into print volumes. And we decided to call this compilation Narratus Mythologica, roughly, mythological tales. And we're going to compile them into 20, 22-page floppies, and they're going to be full color. And they will go out to everyone that's subscribing at the $15 tier as soon as they're available. So we have enough material right now for 2 volumes and nearly 3. And as these 2 new comics get complete, I think we should have enough for 3. So that's coming up too. The first volume will have, I think the first story that I saw you complete was Recounting the Vampire. And then after that, we have Maria and Not Like Others. So that's going into volume 1. Volume 2, let me see, should have, I'm going to put 2 Christmases, Bitch, and probably You're a What Now in there. And that will be the second volume. So, new digital comics, new print comics, new audio, that's all coming to the Patreon. So we got a lot of work in our queue, but I think we'll be able to handle it, especially because we got all these people who believe in us and want to see more stuff. So, with all that being said, we've also, like I said, we've been doing a lot of work, not only on the creative stuff, but also on the social media front. So, we've went ahead and reopened the Mythoverse Parlor, which I initially created back in June, but I never really had time to really put a lot of content into it. So we have a little bit of help. Salem has offered to help us with that. So if you want to follow the Mythoverse on Parlor, it's over at this address, parlor.com/Mythoverse. There you go. We also just opened a Minds page, which is at minds.com/MythoverseComics. This is another little piece of alt tech that I got into briefly in 2016 when I was doing Molly Beans, but I found mixed results with it, so I just kind of let it fall by the wayside. But it seems now is as good a time as any to experiment with this stuff. So we now have a Minds page for the Mythoverse over at minds.com/MythoverseComics and the Parlor. So if you're on either of those sites, go ahead and follow us up, and you'll get all the same content on those 2 sites as well. So I've been going on for quite some time, but there's been quite a lot to talk about. So Matt or Brett, is there anything you would like to talk about? I remember, Matt, you were you not organizing another anthology?
Yes, and right now it's going to be delayed for time being due to how busy everyone is with the 13th month of 2020.
Yeah, like I was telling Brian, and I said at the top of the hour, I sure picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. Everything's been going crazy between the day job, getting ready for our own kickoff this coming Monday, and the Mythoverse 2021 kickoff, getting all this stuff ready. I've been talking to all these different artists. I've been, over the course of the vacation, I think starting on the 28th, I just sat down and locked myself in front of a computer and got like 35,000 words of Adobe Kroger Partisan Sentinel. That's the second novel done, and it's in a very good place right now. So I think if I can get another couple weeks worth of that kind of pace, my goal to get the composition complete before Q1 ends is actually a pretty realistic goal. So if I can get there, that will be wonderful. So Brett, tell us a little bit about, I've been seeing a lot of new artwork being turned in for Changeling issue 2. How's that looking?
Well, Victor's been upping his game as far as I can tell. It looks like he's more or less transitioning completely over to digital.
I saw he's doing amazing work.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna make the process a little bit easier. Because then changes can be made on the fly a lot more conveniently, and he doesn't have to worry about having to use multiple sheets of paper to sketch out. Because I'm not kidding, when he was sketching out, the paper he was using was, I believe it was A24. You know, the paper you find in copy machines like everywhere.
Yeah, it's at the 11 by 17.
Yeah, smaller.
Okay.
Yeah. just everybody knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's what he was using. He wasn't using the industry standard because he just didn't have access to it. And I mean, good on him though for being able to make that work at all though.
Yeah, it did require a little bit of extra work to get it set properly for printing, but in the end, with the resources he had available to get all that artwork done, yeah, I agree with you. It was quite an achievement, and I'm really happy to see that he's able to work digitally now.
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy to think that entire book was done traditionally first.
It was.
Not traditional with an asterisk, Dylan, because he wasn't
What
even.
program did he say he was using?
Well, I'm just
He was the asterisk being he wasn't using industry standard paper. He was using copy machine paper. But yeah.
I mean, I did that all the time in my sketchbook.
Oh yeah. Did he say what program he was using now? Switch to digital.
Like the last page he sent me, like as far as I could tell, done 100% digitally. Did not see anything that looked like it had been sketched on paper.
The reason I asked is because Clip Studio is one that's really good for making comics.
Or Ibis Paint
Studio.
Oh, the program he's using? I actually do not know because I didn't bother asking him.
Yeah.
Could be. If I had to guess, it's probably Photoshop.
From where I sit, only results matter. So whatever program he wants to use, please use it as long as it helps him get the work done. And
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So just real quick, let me read some of the chat. Power Through Wisdom says, still impressed by dropping out every time I read it, Dylan. One of the best depictions of addiction I've ever seen. Here's the interesting thing about that. The script was obviously, as Dylan says, it's kind of an ugly story about a very damaged person at the lowest point in her life. So he mentioned to me that it was kind of difficult, and he almost winced when he was reading some parts of it. But here's the thing. The script itself obviously is, the foundation of it, but Dylan ended up taking a lot of really cool experimental artistic liberties with the visuals that I hadn't initially intended, but ended up really serving the story very well, because the story is about a very, very precipitous mental collapse in our protagonist as she goes into one of the worst withdrawals of her entire life and falls into like a complete disastrous night that she almost doesn't recover from and could very well have ended her life. So the visuals get very intense, and as it goes on, it gets very abstract to the point where you actually feel her disassociating with reality. So it's very, very well done there, Dylan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Power Through Wisdom. That means the world to me. I mean, I have dropping out like right here on my nightstand. Like, it is in my drawer. Like, that is where it stays. My family even made a blanket out of the cover of Dropping Out. To celebrate
neat.
my first comic book.
Yeah, and that cover is pretty damn intense and tells you what you can expect from the interiors, because Adobe's head is literally bursting apart on that cover, and she looks like she is quite literally losing her mind. And that's pretty much what happens. Okay, so let me see real quick here. So Brian says, let me tell you about paint. I think that's in reference to my saying how rough this last week was, because I believe you mentioned something about spilling paint, if memory serves. And then he says, traditional is awesome, but digital for comic creation is faster, especially for revisions and whatnot. Oh, absolutely. Back in the old days, which by which I mean when I was a teenager and digital art wasn't a thing yet, you had whiteout, and that was it. If you had an inking error, you had to use whiteout and go over it again. And Neostar joins us and does his thing, which I'm always glad to see. And yep, that's it. And then Power Through Wisdom, again, compliments dropping out, and Dylan's magnificent work on it, which I wholeheartedly agree with. All right, so we are coming up on 9:45 right now, and I've pretty much gone over what I care to go over. Although, now that Brian's in the chat, has everyone had a chance to check out the preview for Sailor Rogowski?
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet.
You have not seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either.
Well, I for one am very excited about that one. I've been helping Brian a little bit with the editing, so I've had a front row seat for the production, and a lot of the artistic choices, particularly with the dialogue, are things that we both kind of hashed out by spitballing, and I think it really does. It's just great. It's a fun book. The art is absolutely dynamite, and the little subtle artistic nods to the theme of the book are all right there if you notice them. Brian, he likes to write things that have layers, like ogres and onions. So it's not quite as inside baseball as Rags was. Like, this book is certainly much more accessible to general audiences, but there's quite a bit there to see if you pay attention and know what you're looking for. And Brian says, I posted it in the community promotion channel. So you guys should have had a chance to check it out. Anyway. And Neo says he's looking forward to Sailor Rogowski as well. You should. It's a fantastic IP. I have inside knowledge that there's a lot of thought and effort and love put into that property, and if you liked Rags, this is definitely not Rags. I mean, the protagonist obviously has some visual similarities, and there are some thematic similarities, but this is a much more accessible piece of work than Rags was.
And scaled down quite a bit.
Yes, I mean, Rags is a book that once you get what's going on and you've had a chance to read it a couple of times, it really is an exceptional piece of work. But it's one of those books that's easy to misunderstand, especially if all you read is the first issue or two. But I don't think that'll be an issue with this one. And this is interesting because Brian has told me that a lot of what you're seeing here is all Luigi, flexing his artistic muscles. It's not as tightly, I guess you could say, edited. It is tightly edited, but not so much to the point where he choreographs it as much as Rags was, because there was some very important story beats that had to happen just so in Rags. In this case, Luigi was kind of given a lot more free reign, and it really shows that he's having a hell of a lot of fun with that art. And if you haven't seen it yet, there are a couple of panels in particular that are just utterly fantastic. They're going to blow you away. So if you haven't checked it out yet and you're in our Discord and you have access to the community promotion channel, go find that link and check it out. What are you waiting for?
There might also be the off chance someone listening is in the Rags Discord.
Well, yeah, if someone's in the Rags Discord and you haven't read Sailor Rogowski, what the hell are you even in that Discord for? Come on, guys, get with it. So, all right. Well, we're coming up on 10:10. Matt, Brett, do you have anything else you want to talk about before I fire up a game?
I think I've said everything I can say about where we're at with Changeling at this point. But the other thing I think I'll bring up is just that I'm gonna be meeting with Jinger just to touch some bases and deal and get stuff with concept art and coloring and whatnot. Jeff's been talking about that she plans on sort of adapting her painting style from the Halloween comic into Changeling though. So there's that. So
Oh, that's right. Her Halloween comic. Is that going to be part of the Changeling 2 campaign?
yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we're actually gonna. Yeah, since that unfortunately missed the deadline for Halloween Harvest, and we didn't want, and she had put all that work into it, and we didn't want it to go to waste. We just decided we'll just attach it to the Changeling 2 campaign, and then just include it as a little bonus for backers.
That's going to be a real treat because I haven't seen the completed story of my best worst Halloween, but I've seen several sample pages and I've seen a lot of the thumbnails. And the way that she draws Maeve, she's absolutely adorable. I mean, Maeve's a cute character to begin with, but when Ginger draws her, she's just like cute as a button.
Yeah, I can tell you that at this point, the last time Ginger talked to me about progress with my best worst Halloween, that Jesse had, the guy we brought on to do lettering, he had actually finished all the lettering for that. Now she's just working out the cover for it.
Oh, so that's all there's left is the cover?
Yep.
Wow. Well, how many pages did it end up being? 11, 12?
I think it was 9.
Okay. Yeah, I remember it was initially like somewhere around 10 or 11 pages, but then she shortened it a little bit. But then she added it back because she felt it didn't work without that extra page. I don't remember exactly how it all went down, but...
Me neither.
But yeah, it's a gorgeous story. It's obviously... She really does capture... Like, she's got this kind of like snarky approach to writing Maeve, and that sort of fits a 14-year-old girl that's being very sarcastic about a serious situation to cope with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Like, no lie. I mean, like, if circumstances forced me off the book, she's probably someone I would feel comfortable leaving it with, to keep it going.
Uh-huh. Well, that's good. Hopefully you'll go on writing Changeling for as long as it needs to be written. But if, like you said, circumstances change, then she's a good person to pick it up. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and suck at Dead by Daylight for a little while. And this is the part where everyone's allowed to just talk about whatever they want, because I'm not even going to be paying attention. I'm going to be losing at a game. Are you winning, son? No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay. How about now, son? You're winning now?
No, son. I'm trying to customize my penis size in, what's it called? Cyberpunk. Yeah. What a brain fart.
See, the joke's on you. See, the joke's on you guys. See, the joke's on you guys. You're all making fun of each other. Like, are you winning, son? I don't have anyone to say that to me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you see, I put like over 100 hours into Cyberpunk. You think I could remember the damn name of the game?
I played 15 hours before I got to the title card.
Oh my god, I did the same thing. Like, I did all, because I'm like, I don't love side quests. I always do side quests first. And
I didn't feel like I did a lot of side quests. This is the thing.
I haven't beaten the main story, but I remember I avoided the main story. I was just doing a bunch of side quests. I tried to level myself up. And then finally I got to a point where it's like, you know what? I should probably meet this character that I'm supposed to meet. Go do that. So, this main quest seems kind of interesting. Let's get on with it. Then all that shit happens, and the title pops up, and I was just thinking, oh my god, like, what? How long have I been doing this shit?
Yeah, for me, it was like I didn't want to finish the game because I was having so much fun in the world, because I've been a massive fan of the setting to begin with. I played Shadowrun for years too, and I didn't want to complete the game until eventually I ran out of side quests. All I had left were a couple of gigs, and essentially the game was like, it's over. Go home. Finish the mission.
You're still here? Go home.
Exactly.
Go. Just for the sake of it, don't spoil too much of it, because I haven't beaten the main quest line now, especially.
What life path did you pick?
Silverhand is dead.
What life path did you pick?
You take that back.
Yes.
I chose a Street Kid
Mm-hmm.
Arasaka Tower was
just
an
because.
Nice. Yeah, I went.
No lie
I
though,
went Nomad.
I was gonna go
Okay.
Nomad, but I remember pretty much everyone I knew was picking Nomad, and I was like, no, I'm a leader, not a follower.
I was gonna pick Nomad because I like Mad Max and because I like to think that I'm a really good driver. But then I thought this game's glitchy as hell, so I want my first experience. I want my Nomad experience to be really good. So while they're still working out bugs, I'm gonna just do Street Kid.
My Nomad experience was just fine. I mean, hell, I'm playing on PS4 of all things, and my
I got to find somebody who was talking on their cell phone, but only the cell phone was visible. The textures for the person hadn't loaded.
Mm.
There was
The
just
cell
a cell
phone's
phone
talking
floating
to itself.
Yeah. Fortunately, my first playthrough as Nomad, I didn't really experience any bugs aside from this one moment that is very memorable because of how silly it looked. I was riding along with Panem in the desert, and all of a sudden her motorcycle gets stuck on the geometry, gets left behind, and she's floating along on her butt, still in the riding position at high speed.
Yeah, not gonna lie, her squat game's on point.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So that was the only graphical glitch I encountered in my first playthrough. I put the game down for almost 2 weeks because I was so satisfied with how it ended that I didn't want to waste any more time on it. But today I started up a Corpo storyline and decided to be a complete asshole the entire time.
I mean, that's just playing in character.
Yeah, exactly. So I was pretty much a paragon, if you will, when I was a Nomad. So this will be my Renegade playthrough.
right.
Yeah, when I play Nomad, I'm planning on doing motorcycle and dual wielding pistols like the Lone Ranger.
I thought maybe you should be riding, dude. Maybe you should be riding the pistols and dual wielding motorcycles.
I mean, that is basically DMC5 right there.
Well, shit.
But no, because I remember when I don't want to talk too much spoilers. When you get Jackie's bike, I was already, because one of my things is I love riding motorcycles in open world games. So I was kind of pissed how all the motorcycles were so fucking expensive, and I was like, God, I'm not gonna be able to afford this stuff. Not now, because I don't want to wait for the motorcycle. And then I got that, and suddenly I was like, it didn't happen with Jackie was sad, but this motorcycle,
Yeah, that was the only vehicle I rode after I got it.
So, did anybody experience the penis glitch?
No.
Where
Floppity.
well, no, because my female character, all of a sudden she had. Yeah, I know.
Rocking out with her cocking out.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Wow.
All of a sudden, my female character, she just had her.
I do remember the first time I looked in the mirror, my character was just naked. And I was just thinking whoa, man, it's not time yet.
Oh, that reminds me.
Oh,
During a sequence where, I don't want to spoil it, but you're on stage playing, my character had no pants for some reason.
Same.
So
That happened to me too.
I mean, are you wearing pants while you're on stage normally? What the hell?
Well, yeah, it's just the pants for some reason didn't render. So you're in first person view and you're looking down at your legs and wait, where are my pants? and afterwards, when you get control of your character again and go to your inventory, you're pantsless.
One of the bugs I got early on was with a shirt. It gave a lot of armor, but there was nothing there, and when you put it on, you were wearing nothing at all.
Oh, that happened to me too. Now that you're reminding me of these things, because all the hours kind of blurred together because I did them all at once. But I actually did equip armor. My daughter was 2 feet from me and almost saw the bare boobies. I was like, oh, because it didn't render the shirt. It's like, where's my shirt? Oh crap.
His daughter's like, hey, Daddy, what are those?
Yeah, that was a close call. She didn't see it, but it was close.
Well, to be fair, if you can pick up dildos in the game as scrap, you
And also
could
get one to
you'd expect
beat
that to be
people
one
over
of
the head
the
with.
bugs.
I like how you can like make ammo out of dildos, technically, because you deconstruct them and then make ammo out of them.
Has anyone found the crashed van in the desert that has dildos all around it?
No, I have not.
Oh, you mean in the game? I was about to
In
say
the game.
yes.
No, in the game, there's a
But the
van
same man,
out in the
like-
desert, and there's some really badass gear there too. But there's a van out in the desert that has like hundreds and hundreds of dildos around it, and in boxes in the back.
See, now I got to go back and explore all the areas I didn't finish exploring.
Yep.
But after I do my asshole corpo playthrough, I guess.
Yeah, and the more you level up your character in different aspects of its development, the more areas become more accessible to you.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
When people were like, "Oh, I can't get into all these areas," and I'm like, "Well, can you double jump? What's a double jump?" Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
Like,
It's when you jump twice.
like
It's
well,
when you
they're
press
like,
the
"I didn't know
jump
you
button
could do that. There's
twice.
no cyberware for that." Yes, there's cyberware for that.
Yeah.
Yes, you can pry open doors that have 20 strength check if you have the strength. Like you can get into anywhere if you take the time.
Yeah, I didn't go with the double jump. I went with the bionic jump.
Oh
So
yeah,
what
the
game
one
are you
where
playing?
just press and hold.
Yeah. This is
The Cyberpunk.
Dead by Daylight.
The 27.
Right.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're talking about Cyberpunk, but I'm playing Dead by Daylight very, very poorly.
I remember I remember having this conversation with a friend of mine where it's like everyone's complaining about Cyberpunk being buggy, and it's like, oh god damn, you damn children, you don't know what it's like.
Oh, remember New Vegas when it came out? Oh, the
Playing
greatest game
Fallout
in the
New
world,
Vegas,
and it
you start the
crashed,
game,
like,
and the
every
first thing you
2
see is Dr.
hours.
Mitchell dead.
And we all love that game.
All around his
Remember the black back discs for PlayStation 2?
Oh yes, like these people don't know if they're complaining about this game. Man, when Vegas came out, New Vegas came out, everybody loved that game, and that game crashed every hour on the hour like clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I remember there was a
man.
time I was playing, and I played it recently, like earlier this or last year, I should say now. But I was playing it, and I was thinking, like, man, why did I ever stop playing this? And it just crashed right then and there. And I was like, oh yeah,
You're
that's
like, oh yeah, that's why.
yo, power. You know,
Yeah.
the thing is, patrolling the Mojave makes you wish for a nuclear whip. Boom.
Yep. Yep. Oh man.
I still love New Vegas.
I'm currently on my like 10th playthrough on that game, and it's such a great game. Like when it comes to these
I kinda
RPGs,
like-
I sink thousands of hours into them.
One of
think
these days, I'm just going to do like a big iron run. Use
I think-
nothing but a revolver.
I think on my Steam account, I think I have like almost 500 hours into Fallout 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
now you're
Um,
getting to look at how much I've got.
Yeah, I combined for Fallout alone, I've probably got almost 1,000 hours in all the games. And then Skyrim, I think
Yeah,
I got
this
like
la-
150, 200 hours. And those are only the hours that Steam manages to record. Because remember, like, sometimes the internet will crash and Steam won't record like 10 or 15 hours of your gameplay.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember this last playthrough for New Vegas. Because I remember like the too many save files can also like mess up your game and cause it to kind of crash more often. So I kind of deleted. It was like it's been years since I played it, so I was all right. I'm just gonna delete all these saves. And I almost stayed there for an hour just trying to delete all the saves, and not just for like one character, like multiple characters as well. I think I saved like one save for each one just in case. And I was like, my God, I've played this game so much. And again, that playthrough, I was like, I'm still having fun as if I just turned this game on for the first time.
Yeah, New Vegas. And I've always been a fan of Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4. I've always thought they were great games. Some people give hatred to Fallout 4 and them for the building stuff, but if you just download Fallout Sims off of the Nexus, it makes building like fun, like its own little game.
Yeah, the problem with
you know-
4 is that, like, of the 3 newest Fallout games, 3, New Vegas, 4, not counting 76, the Abomination.
Yeah, we
But
don't
technically,
talk about that
4
one.
is, like, or is technically like the weakest of them, and kind of sucks because the mods do make it better, but you know you kind of have to have mods to make it better. But
Yeah,
the
you
other
kind
two,
of
you
have
don't
to have
really need them.
mods to play. I bought Fallout 4 with the intention of playing it modded from the get go, and I did. I had like at the peak of it, I had like almost 180 mods downloaded, and I'm not talking like little mods. I'm talking like game changing mods where when you loaded the game, you wouldn't even recognize it if you didn't see the title. Like
Yeah,
you wouldn't even
nuclear
know it
winter
looked
was an
like it.
option.
Yeah, like nuclear winter
Well,
was an
got your
option.
wish,
Monsters,
patrolman.
monsters can one shot you, and you can't see them, and but enemies can't see you through the trees and like the fog and like everything that I added was just. In some parts, I'd scare the crap out of myself. That's how good I had modded it. But I
I
have a
remember,
video. I have a video on my crappy YouTube channel where I had all the mods downloaded somewhere. I'd have to upload it sometime.
You know, I mean, I got really excited recently doing my like vanilla playthrough where I just found this machine. You know, the named M1 Garand in New Vegas.
Is
Like,
anyone
oh,
else getting feedback?
no, yeah, that's Matt.
Oh shit! I didn't.
I kind of like it. It makes me sound like I'm listening to the horrible broadcasts I normally listen on my off time.
I was about to say, it reminds me of military stuff, just hearing someone over a fucking radio.
Okay, so
But one thing I was gonna say is that this
On
past
the police
Fallout
radio.
New Vegas run I had like a complete sniper run. Like I told myself I can only use a sniper rifle.
Oh, mine was
And,
a
oh my-
357. Mine was a 357.
Oh, the
That's
revolver?
the recent playthrough that I'm doing, where it's I only use the 357. That's it. That's
Like-
the only gun I can use.
Like, just the revolver?
Just the revolver.
Yeah.
I can
Aw,
upgrade
shit.
it. It's fully upgraded, but it's the only gun I can use. And it is. Let me
And you-
tell you, it is hard. And I can't use VATS, so I don't use VATS, and I only use the revolver. Yeah.
You at least allow yourself to use like unique versions of the weapon.
Only the Gunrunners mods are the only ones that are allowed besides the gun.
So if you happen to
It's
find
like-
a named 357, you can't use it?
Nope, it has to be the standard issue 357 from the game. You can use Gunrunners mods to make it a little bit better, and you can use whatever ammo you want, but you can't use VATS, and you can only use the 357.
Cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It-
to me that's
it
a
makes
little,
the-
like that's too much for me.
It makes
All right.
the game like insane. It is so awesome because
follow up.
you get so
Follow-up
good at
question,
using
Howard.
it that like you get so good at using it that you just start popping heads like it's no big deal.
All right, Power, follow-up question.
Yeah.
Do you have to keep it holstered every time, and you can only draw it once you enter combat?
I didn't really focus on that, although I did
Okay.
focus on holstering it a lot because when you take it out, you spin it.
Yeah.
So it was like a little immersion thing for me.
I'm just
But-
imagining, like, a kind of cowboy character just having to quick draw every time he gets
Yeah.
into combat.
Yeah, I remember because my sniper playthrough, it was fine at first. Well, it kind of sucked at first because you don't get a sniper rifle really until like much later in the game, and then because I just love the anti-material rifle. I love that gun. I
That
love
thing is
using it.
insane.
I love it, and I told myself like I can at least upgrade to that kind of sniper rifle because it's still a sniper rifle. One thing I kind of ruined myself with is that like I try to stick hardcore to it, so even when like enemies are like charging at you,
Oh no, you're gonna die.
you think like, oh,
You're
they're
gonna die if you try to. But I get what you're trying to say. Yeah.
yeah, it was that yeah, I did the mission or quest, whatever you want to call it, where you have to go to Quarry Junction to get the Deathclaw eggs with the mama.
Oh, fuck that. With just a
Death
sniper
Claw and the
rifle,
Alpha.
no like SMG
Oh my God.
or shotgun or anything.
Yeah.
God, you can't. See, I tried doing that.
No, I just
quest.
went with anti-material rifle.
Yeah, I had to just sneak my way through that one in order to complete that one. Otherwise, I would have died every time I tried to use just my revolver.
Well, because for me, because I was doing a sniper rifle run, my thing was put into like sneak and well, I guess you could say guns, but yeah, basically, I was like, much almost any enemy I found in stealth, and I got a stealth critical, we're gonna die. However, I knew that because it's a Quarry Junction, the minute I take the shot, it's over. Like they're all gonna come at me.
Yep.
So I basically had to sit here and be like, who do I want to kill? Like, which is the worst? Like, which is the
That'd be Big
bosses?
Mama. You'd have to
Is
take
the
out the Big
mama?
Mama one. Yeah.
Yeah, the Big Mama has more health, but I think the alpha male is more aggressive and does more damage, I think. So what I did was I killed the mama first. But as soon as I did that, like out of nowhere, the alpha just, I don't know, I guess he just spawned in or he finally came into like the field of view. He just came out of nowhere and it was the most terrifying thing I ever played in that game. It's not a horror game, but for that brief moment, it was a horror game.
So the most terrifying part of Fallout that I ever did was when I played my modded version of Fallout 4 in VR. And that to
God.
me was like pants shitting level of gaming. It was intense. It was awesome. And fighting like death claws, even just like small monsters creep the hell out of you because I mean they just come out of nowhere and you turn around and there's a death claw screaming at you like ugh, great. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to play any of the Fallout 4 in VR, yeah, do it because it's intense. It's an intense experience.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, because like one thing that actually made me really mad with Fallout 4 is who is that?
That's Matt.
Sorry, it's like I don't know if it's just me, but my voice for me it just sounds so much louder. Like when Power Through Wisdom speaks, his voice is so quiet, but when I speak, my playback is just like so loud. I was like, what the hell is that?
No, yeah, mine is kind of loud too.
But was it? So yeah, with Fallout 4, I got upset because they had the creation club stuff, and they had the anti-material rifle, and I was like, oh my god, I want that, but I refused to pay for it through this, and I found like mods for it, and I was gonna download those mods, but then as I read into it, it's like, oh no, it's not. Like you need the creation club anti-material rifle in order for it to work, for this mod to work, and I was so upset by that.
Ooh. Sakura boo.
Yeah, I was like, you're denying me my favorite weapon in all of Fallout because I just love that damn sniper rifle. I don't know what it is about it. I love it.
So here's a conversation changer. How about the music in Cyberpunk 2077? Some of this music on some of these radio
Oh my
stations
God.
is off the chain.
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
It's a shame that it's a
Oh, I
shame
thought you were
that a
talking
lot
about the
of
soundtrack itself.
soundtrack itself isn't, it really should
like
be
even
more
they
metal.
got some. They had I think Rihanna, her song Circus Olay. When that song came on, I was like, no way. I haven't heard this song in years. And it's in the game. Like, what the heck? And then the song Night City by that new artist that they had done exclusive for the game is amazing. Some of the other like rock songs that they did for Samurai, like, dude, like off the chain. No wonder it took them 7 years to make the game. They were busy in the recording studio. I mean, they had to have licensed Cirque du Soleil by Rihanna like 4 years ago.
That's just one of the
I
small
do wish
things.
there was more like rock, but
That's just one of the small things that made me not want to leave the world. It just felt so lived in and so real and flushed out.
I don't even use the fast travel. I ride a bike or drive a car everywhere because
neither do
I. I don't even use fast travel. It's the first RPG I've ever done where I don't use fast travel.
I only use fast travel to complete the tarot quest. That was it.
Oh yeah.
That was the only time I used it.
The environment is just so interactive. Like you just like I'm standing here up on this area. I'm getting ready to go meet Takamura, and just looking down this alleyway of buildings, like I want to like be in the game.
Yeah.
Like that's how like environmental it is. Like there's like little flies buzzing around this lamp. There's like just people drinking. Some dude's shit faced. Like I mean, it's just like
Yeah. To your point there, like I would stop and listen to conversations.
Yeah.
I would never press F to skip when I was a passenger. I would actually just look around at everything. I'd look at the
Yeah.
driver. It was fantastic. So immersive.
Anybody else find themselves like nodding or shaking their head like as they're talking to somebody?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
like,
actually
this is back
moved my
Yes.
character's I moved my character's point
Yeah,
of view
moving
around.
your character's head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
when
nod
I'm
and shake your
when
head.
I'm addressing a character, like I'll turn to look at the character, or I'll look away every now and then, like 'cause that's how I would handle myself in the conversation. that's how I felt when I was playing the game.
I felt so
The
silly
outfits
doing that.
these-
I'm like, I hope I'm not the only
wear.
person that does that.
Oh God, no, absolutely not. That's how into it I was, especially because the voice acting was so on point.
Some of these
I'm back.
outfits that these NPCs walk around in too. are
I
just,
was
like,
really upset
insane.
when Spoiler died. I mean, I knew he was gonna die because I don't know. It was just kind of predictable, but still, it was very upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I'll play a Survivor. Why is the queue so long for Survivor?
Now, I was just gonna say, because I got cut off before I could finish it, but we're talking about Cyberpunk's music. Freaking Johnny Silverhand's theme, like the thing that plays when you first start playing as him.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
The cello version. Oh my god.
Oh, the cello. I'm a sucker for like string instruments in like soundtracks, and that was just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
BRB growing a beard and getting aviators.
Oh yeah, it's like because it's funny because like basically Johnny Silverhand is that game's version of Antifa, but I mean I hate Antifa in real life, but that version of Antifa, you know, he makes it look
Actually
kind of
doing
appealing.
stuff, getting things done, making shit happen.
He
That's
actually
what
has
he's
some
doing.
balls. So
Yeah.
it's funny when you're in the I don't think this is too spoilery. When you're in this little kind of lucid dream state and you can kind of see him and he walks away and you approach him again and he walks away again, when he finally turns into you and addresses you, I half expected him to go like, I'm Razor Fist, God.
No, I was waiting for him to start going like, "Wake the fuck up, samurai."
Yeah. Did anyone else, when you get your first flashback and play as him, did anyone else like say, "Okay, I'm John Wick"?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Especially
wait.
with
So
that gun,
did you
I want his
notice
gun.
that the
Oh, God,
the
yeah.
gunplay is exactly the way Keanu Reeves does his gunplay in John Wick?
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell.
It literally is.
I don't
and,
remember him
like,
spinning his gun in order to reload it, but I'll have to watch John Wick again.
No, like, so how do I say this? Like when you if you get the parkour down right in the game, the gunplay, the way you hold the gun when you're Johnny Silverhand and stuff like that, and you like peek around corners and you move through and stuff, like you can tell it's definitely
Yeah.
similar to the
Oh
gunplay
yeah,
that
yeah,
he
it's
does in
inspired
John
by
Wick.
John Wick as far as
Yeah, because like when I remember playing that moment, and to me, I was like, is he doing like John Wick movements? But I thought I was just imagining them because I knew for a fact it was Keanu Reeves I was playing
yeah,
as.
yeah.
But
they
yeah, now in
mocapped all of
hindsight,
it too.
Well, you know what I felt was really funny with using him. Obviously, his silver hand is ballin'. I mean, that's just awesome. But I remember I'd gotten really good. I can pretty much get headshots accurately in this game.
On the fly, yeah.
Yeah, kind of on the fly. And I'm like, oh, I'll do that to get extra damage. And this gun's so powerful that this guy's head just
Pops.
immediately explodes. And I'm looking
You know,
at the
it's also-
gun like,
you know, it's another character they introduced really well. What's his name? Adam Smasher.
Yes.
Dude, when he walks
Yes.
into the hotel room, aren't you
Yeah,
a bit of fuckable meat? Bruh. And it's like, dude,
I was like,
do I have to fight you at some point? I don't want to fight you. You go,
I
go
remember
to the moon or something. Get away from me.
I remember seeing him, and I was thinking at first, I was like, is that a suit? But then, like when I replayed the brain dance, like, no, that's just him. I didn't know the Terminator was in this game.
Yeah.
What do you mean by fuckable meat? Do you even have a dick? Can you even have sex?
Yeah.
I think
And then
he
he-
probably traded it in for just extra gun.
Yeah, but
And, okay, so
or
this
an
is actually
ammo
a pretty-
pouch.
This is actually a pretty cool thing that I learned is that so not to go to too spoiler territory, but the moment where you and Jackie are hiding and that whole scene takes place and he shows up as that one dude's bodyguard, So there's I can't remember the name of the perk, but there's the perk where it's like when someone like detects you, it notifies you. I don't know if you know which perk that is or if you're familiar with it, but basically, I was reading up on it. It's oh damn it, what do you call it? So in that moment when he shows up, that notification actually pops up on your character screen, and at first people were thinking it was a glitch, but now in hindsight, people were saying like, no, he probably actually did detect you. He was just gonna wait and see what happened. So I thought that was actually
that's
pretty
terrifying because it means that he's okay with potentially screwing over his employer, which happens to be like the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like, I like that concept too because it fits his character of just like, let's see where this goes.
Yeah,
And then
Adam Smasher is like the most insane, like just ugh. And you never really see him until the end, and then it's like, oh god, I have to face him again.
And that chase sequence though, when you're leaving.
Oh my god, that's what I was about to say.
Building,
Like, remember Jurassic Park?
He literally
when the
just
T-Rex is chasing him. And remember as a kid, like how intense that scene was. I damn near, I was screaming in my seat, like reverse, get out of here!
Just drive.
But I love the part. I love the part where they're in the car, and he's like, "Drive." It's like, we are being pursued, and he's like, "What?" And then out of nowhere, he just rams the car from the side.
Yeah,
it's like,
and
oh
I'm
shit,
like,
it's him.
Reverse. Yeah.
Oh, you know what else was a cool moment too? Now that I think about it, when Takamura saves you, and you're like in and out of consciousness, and all those samurai dudes are attacking you, and the one dude with the mantis blade shows up.
And he like fights until he's nothing but like Terminator status, like nothing but his mechanics left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty intense chase scene. Like, it gets gnarly. The game just gets raw, gritty, and angry.
Yeah, I honestly hope that they manage to get some DLC out for it in the near future.
They're already talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, in the near future, they're going to do a huge patch, and they're going to do a huge DLC. I mean, this is CDPR.
Supposedly.
If you've played The Witcher 3, you know what to expect.
Yeah, because
these people love their RPGs. They love doing this, and it's going to be.
They're so good at it too. Holy cow!
They're so good at it. I mean, just look at this game.
I mean, it's very, as far as like the story, it's very on rails. But when it does open up, there's just a lot to do.
Yeah,
in the beginning, it's on
I
rails,
understand
and
there
towards
first.
the end, it's on rails for storytelling reasons. But like, you know, the majority of the gameplay really comes from the side quests. And the great thing about it is they made it to where the side quests kind of like draw you into them. Like, you want to go find another side quest because you're interested to see what the next little tidbit of story. And some of the bigger side quests that seem like main side quest type story arcs, I think are going to have ramifications in later DLC. Like the one where you decide whether or not you want to help or not help the mayor or the mayor-elect. I think that's stuff like that's going to be like definitely taken into consideration later on in DLC. Like, your decisions, I think, are going to have an impact on that.
Like that mysterious phone call you get during the decision whether or not to what's going on.
Definitely. Like, make sure you're making the decisions you want to make in those side quests, because I would bet money that CDPR is going to take those decisions into consideration.
Well, yeah, because the DLC they already talked about is going to be free DLC. It's like a little bit of a I guess you could say apology for how the game was shipped out. So I remember reading about that, and then like they basically it was just saying how they had a lot of plans for when it comes to future patches and DLC.
Yeah, I do have a lot of criticisms about the way CDPR handled this, especially having two project managers at once, which is kind of begging for disaster. But somebody said this may be the worst launch in history, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure some people actually were made physically ill due to mold in helmets from Fallout 76.
Not to mention the system, the game docks its own players and breaks some people's consoles.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about ET the game.
What about No Man's Sky?
Or One Man's Lie, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although
Even
that's
though
a good
I know
game
the
now.
story.
to be,
Have you
to be
played No
fair,
Man's Sky though?
to be fair, it's a good game now. Yes.
It is
Yeah.
insane. That game is insane. It's exactly what we were supposed to get when it released.
Yeah.
It is a great game.
Yeah, I've already put like
Also,
40
I'll
hours
say
into
this
it.
about Cyberpunk 2077. It actually did eventually come out, unlike Star Citizen. Oh!
Oh, son of a bitch.
Friggin' burn. But yeah, no. Like this is CDPR. First of all, they made a mountain the size of Everest as far as eddies are concerned off the game.
Yeah.
Hell, their pre-sales recouped
Eddies.
all of their dev costs over the last 7 years. So
And then
for
like
them to not do DLC, like this game is a cash cow.
Like
It really
I
is.
remember,
I will return
I
to this
remember
world
reading
over and
articles.
over again. I definitely will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading articles where people, like games journalists, the salty bastards that they are, they were saying like, "Oh, Cyberpunk has lost 78% of its player base," and everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, because it's a single-player game and they beat it."
Yeah, I finished it, and it was so satisfying. I didn't pick it up for 2 more weeks. I was.
And then like, it's like compare that to The Last of Us that had a 80% drop in sales
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
week.
Oh yeah.
It's like I'm pretty sure it's very telling that they chose to talk about the player base dropping rather than sales numbers dropping.
Yeah.
CDPR is sitting on a pile of eddies. A massive pile.
I mean-
and that 10% bonus they gave them for crunch is probably like 6 figures a pop. Like, come on. Like, people are like, oh, they only got 10%. And I was like, yeah, they got 10% of what, 40 million in sales on day one? And they have like what, 1,200 developers? I think the total number was like 4,000 people total working on the game.
Yeah.
I mean, do
Yeah,
the
and
math.
like
That's
they're
a year's
technically
wage.
yeah they're
In one
technically
go.
like they're not even a big developer, not really, not like
I think they're considered
what
like
you would
medium
consider.
size, aren't they?
yeah.
Well, anecdotally
So it's
speaking,
actually impressive.
I have a dozen Steam friends that have finished the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the reviews? It's like
Yeah.
79% of 220,000 reviews, overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
Like, come on. On Steam of all places.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I'm kind of a fanboy for the game though, so I'm probably a little biased. But that one review that I posted on Twitter that I also posted in the video game by that one guy I really liked. I think I felt like I was listening to a video gamer and not a game journal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can tell.
That was a pretty good review.
You can tell that he actually played the game.
Yeah.
Oh, like that. I hate to be that guy, but like that one GameSpot reviewer where she literally was talking about all the mechanics she skipped over, and people were like, well, "She didn't even play the game," and everyone defending her was like, "She did play it. She straight up said it." Like, no, we're talking about the fact that she's admitting that she skipped over several mechanics and then had the nerve to say it felt like the game was missing stuff. Because of course it was missing stuff. You didn't access all of it.
Wait, who was this?
It was some GameSpot reviewer right when the game came out, and they gave it like a negative review. And during like the live stream or whatever, where they were talking to like the reviewer, she said like she felt like the game was missing a lot of features, but she also started talking about how like they had like crafting and there was some other stuff, and she basically straight up said like she straight up said that she didn't even touch that stuff. Like she completely ignored it. And it's like, of course, it's like you don't have the right to sit here and say it felt like something was missing, and in the very next sentence you sit here and say that you deliberately skipped over features.
Well, I
also,
mean, it's a games journalist. Do you expect him to be in any way reputable or
Competent.
honest or?
Oh, and you know what's even funnier?
She was probably pressured to get an article out as soon as possible to capitalize.
Oh, you want to
on
know
the
the funniest
plot,
part about
too.
it though?
So, like,
You all get a kick out of this. So she's also the same person who wrote the IGN review for Pokemon having too much water.
Oh.
Wow.
6.5 out of 10. Too much.
The reason Pokemon has so much water is because water types are the most abundant.
Well, it was in
Pokemon
Hoenn. Oh no, this is the
we
funny
live on
part.
a planet that's 70-80% water.
No,
Come
no,
on.
no, no.
we're
You're
like
Here's the
Life
thing.
exists in the ocean, so I don't know what your problem
hold
is.
hold on. Here's the real kicker about that review. It was for the remake for Ruby and Sapphire, or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And if you looked at the older review for the original games, it's something like, I think it's like 8 out of 10 or something like that. It had a higher score, even though the one from later is complaining about something that's in both versions of the game.
Oh my gosh. Game journalists, like, and it's like, how do you put a review out on a game that you got your hands on like 4 hours ago? What'd you do? Pop it in, tool around a bit, and then say, oh yeah, it sucks, or oh yeah, it's great. Like, come on.
Nah, they licked it. They didn't like
They
how it
licked it.
tasted.
Yeah, they didn't even, they just tasted it. They just kind of touched it a little
No,
bit, and that was it.
no, it tastes awful.
Yeah.
What is this?
Come
You
on.
expect me to play this game?
Yeah, you expect me
What
to
do you think I
sit
am,
here
a
for
gamer?
20
I've only
You think
been
I'm a
paid to lick
gamer?
it.
I'm just gonna touch this. Not the disc broke in my hand. It's not a good game.
No, you know what they did? They
Come on.
smelled it. They like sniffed it and it's like, it smells decent.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. People are like, "Oh, Power, you're just being a fanboy," and I'm like, "No, you're just being a clout chaser." Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Clout chasing my ass. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Like, come on. Some of them I was probably a little too harsh on, but
Lick your
whatever.
vidya.
They
Nah,
deserve
anyone who
it.
defends games journalists, like unironically, after all the crap they've done, it's like, no.
It's okay to bully games journalists, frankly.
This is one of the few times where I am hardcore. Like, I don't like generalization, but this is one of the few times where I don't care. I don't care. Like, to me, games journalists, they dug their own grave. They did this to themselves.
Don't call it a grave. Call it the future you chose.
You get what you fucking deserve.
Ever since the disaster with Rotten Tomatoes and Captain Marvel, I have stopped paying attention to mainstream reviewers of any kind of entertainment. Nonsense. Like, that right there really woke me up to, yeah, I'm not going to pay attention to any kind of mainstream reviewer of anything entertainment-wise.
And then,
it was Mass Effect 3 when they were defending that god-awful fucking ending and blaming gamers for having the audacity to hate it.
That's another series that I love, and I absolutely hated that ending. I love Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect, and I hate it. I hated that ending.
Like, now, see, I have a bit of a different take when it comes to Mass Effect 3, because I argued that the entire game was awful. However, the ending was just the shit icing on top of the shit cake.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the game because it was Mass Effect. That was where my bias came in. It was just Mass Effect, and it was finishing the story of Commander Shepard, who's an absolute badass. And I thought
then you just get three colored middle fingers in the end.
Yeah, that's
you got middle fingers from the beginning, middle, and then the end was literally it was like as if the Reapers themselves developed their own hands, multicolored those hands, and then shoved middle fingers for each hand.
No, even before the beginning, when a fucking Promethean was Prothean. Oh my god. When a fucking Prothean was announced as day one fucking DLC.
They could have done more with the Prothean, but I don't know.
No, the fact of the matter that was clearly a character that was supposed to be in the game from the get-go, and they were
he straight up was.
Cut this off and make him DLC.
He straight up was. I think one of the developers admitted that. But like, I'm sorry, but there's so many things wrong with that game where I can't just be like, it's one of the few times where I would argue that it's objectively not a good game.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was great though, and I have like.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with liking it, but to me, I'm like, if you say it's good, you're wrong. You can like it. Liking is perfectly fine. I like a bunch of shitty things, but don't sit here and tell me that it's objectively good. Not you, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm trying to vacation before I go meet Takamura, I'm trying to find a way to get into the areas that you go during his mission. I'm just not having it.
Case the place.
Well, I'm trying to break the game. I always do that on my like second playthroughs. I try to like break my way into things that you're not supposed to go. Like try to find a glitch to glitch into a wall to get into an area. Like I always do that. It's not having any luck. So I guess I go meet with Takamura. I saw somebody the other day. They finally made the meme, and Takamura was still waiting.
I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
he's
about
gonna-
because his is the last quest I have like. I
Yeah.
keep doing everything else.
But Takamura
They say
was
he's still waiting in Tom's Diner to this very day.
Yeah.
He's looking at the
Listen.
big burger.
The Borg.
Listen, I gotta up my street
Borg.
cred somehow, so he's gonna have to wait.
Yeah, he's gonna have to wait because I want that
Honestly-
badass weapon. I need my street cred to get new cyber mods.
Honestly, that alone should increase your street cred. Is making this badass samurai ninja cyborg wait for you, while you
Right.
literally just do shit. Like
Right
just
now-
a
Hey,
bunch
I
of
don't
random
have a lot
shit.
of. Hey, you pretty much don't have much time on your hands as far as the story's concerned. So yeah, I'm taking my sweet time.
He right now he's telling me, hey, V, do you have something that they call ADD? Because I keep walking right by him, trying to find ways around. He's like, V, I'm not the one dying. You are. I could wait, but I think you have ADD. And he says it like,
And you know what's the funniest thing about it is, as someone who's lived in Japan for 2 years, it is very accurate that Japanese people speak like that, in the sense like when they try to say things that are very like
foreign to
American.
their- yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And they
also
speak.
a complete boomer when it comes to messaging.
He's horrible. He tries to send you haikus, and then it's funny because you can like troll him back, and he's like, "What does that mean, V? I don't understand."
Or how he's supposed to give you reconnaissance info and he accidentally gets a selfie of himself.
I remember that. Yeah. How do you use this thing, V? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me
Me,
of
I
Daniel.
must call technical support.
It reminds me of Daniel and Mr. Miyagi, and I'm just waiting for him to say,
Yeah.
Nissan, wax on, wax off. Like I'm waiting for him to say that. Like,
Do it!
yeah, it was good.
But if any DLC does come to this game, I hope it's more stuff that's set in 2023. I want to explore that kind of Night City.
I would love to do like a. Oh man, I was gonna say like maybe like play different like shorter campaigns with like different characters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, imagine like an Atom Smasher DLC. Just being a
Where
fucking
you just
tank.
destroy shit.
So some
Have you guys played
Term?
Have you played Terminator Resistance?
I haven't played any of the Terminator games.
Well, they had Terminator Resistance, and they released
Oh,
a
right.
free DLC for the Steam version, where it's called Infiltrator Mode, and you're literally playing as a T-800. And I'm like, it's gonna be like that, where it's just you hunting down your targets, smashing through like solid concrete walls to get to them, never taking fall damage or anything like that.
That sounds fun. I'd do that.
Yeah.
I will say two things that they need to really patch quickly is they need to patch the AI
Oh yeah.
for crowds. The crowd AI needs to be updated. And then the crafting. Like the one thing that I find really annoying is when you go to your crafting inventory and you want to like break down gear or you want to create so many of one item and you have to push and hold for each that to me is like
Yeah.
spending 15 minutes trying to create enough parts to build a weapon is like just really lame.
I hear a doggo.
Yeah, I've got two of them.
Oof.
Bork.
That's Casey. And then the big one is Kodo. Both black labs.
Nice.
Oh man. And also, I always forget that like Cyberpunk, like 2077, has like a whole bunch of like lore behind it. It's not just like
Oh yeah, like if I
some
remember
random
correctly,
game.
yeah, 3 tabletop books worth of lore.
You've got to go read the Cyberpunk 2020 books if you can for the lore, because it'll explain a lot of things in this world that you'll understand. Like there's things that I see in here that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I know what that's about. Like in Crow Manticore, for instance, there was a huge thing between Crow Manticore, Nicola, and one of the other pop companies in this game in the 20s, where there was a huge actual corporate war between them. Like they no shit had like soldiers and were like fighting each other in the streets for stuff
That
over. It
that's
was
straight
an
up
actual
Demolition
polo
Man
war.
stuff right there.
Like I mean, there's some crazy lore that Mike Pondsmith, who is an absolute treasure to man, that he created, that is just amazing. And the fact that CDPR allowed him to be heavily involved in the writing of Cyberpunk 2077 to me is just another testament to the type of game dev that they really are. Like they could have easily said, "Hey, thanks for letting us use your product. Have a nice life. Here's a check." Instead, they were like, "Oh, you wrote this? Oh, hey, you're going to be a part of it from day one." To me, was like awesome.
And then
Yeah, if
like all the games
I remember
journalists start being like how dare CDPR have these minorities be villains, and it's like the dude who wrote this original
black
villains
dude.
is a black guy.
Yeah, none of that
Like
matters.
he literally wrote that.
if I remember correctly, some of the gangs in game are actually made by his wife too.
Yeah, his wife helped write a lot of the stuff too. Like it was a team effort. Like I mean, the world that they created is just amazing. It really is. Just
It's one of those worlds that is so fleshed out that it's like, man, I could live there. But then you remember what the world is, and you're kind of like, maybe not, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would not want to live there,
If-
but it's fun to visit.
if you're a net runner or an edge runner, you could make your way.
Yeah, to an early grave.
I think the only one that would really have a chance. Well, I mean, Rogue is an example of somebody living a long life, but I think really like you'd either have to be born into wealth or you'd have to be an edge runner like Rogue to really survive in this world.
Yeah, everyone else is shit out of luck.
Now, see, you say that, but see, I have a different aspect. I'm going to invest everything into gene splicing and just make myself into an abomination of man. That's how I'm going to make my way
That
through.
says,
Fuck all your cybernetics.
You look like a piece of fuckable meat when you walk by people.
And I'm literally just going to be like some kind of like abomination of God. Just
Oh,
some,
look
like
at you! You're
just
another
like a,
piece of fuckable meat.
like a fucking super
wife's
mutant
yelling at
running
me
around.
Such a ridiculous game. This game is like one big giant meme. The devs even said it's a big meme. Like the whole game is a meme.
Memus Maximus.
Somebody put a turtle on a little tech deck skateboard and it played the cyberpunk music. Oh my god.
And you're not showing us this. Why?
Yeah, but I say, why is this not in the chat?
Because I literally just found it.
Oh, okay, he just
literally
discovered it. No, you know what's my favorite cyberpunk meme, and it's the dumbest one. It's a one with Keanu Reeves. He's just walking, and it's like, "Why do you come?" And then it just cuts him off with the cyberpunk music.
Yeah.
Why do you come?
I'm gonna take
Yeah, I
your
found
body and
If I need your body, I'll fuck it. No.
yeah. Yeah.
In
Yeah,
Night
this is
City.
what
you
your
should
Rona
be
just
tough.
posted it.
No.
Here, I posted it. And funny.
There's a turtle with the little thing.
Wait, where'd you put it?
It's in
Funny videos.
Oh my god, I gotta see it.
It's really the simplest, low effort memes that are the funniest.
It's pretty great.
fuck it. It's being stupid again. Let's try this. There we go. Funny videos.
Anyone, anything, and you hear him go, "Are you ready, buddy?" And then it goes,
and the expression on the turtle's face is perfect for it. He just starts going at like lightning speed.
It's even better that the turtle actually starts moving. Like he knows he's in on the joke.
I know.
Your scientists were so preoccupied if they could, they never stopped to think if they should.
I don't know why they had to. The answer was yes.
Just looked at Twitter. Yep, still a dumpster fire. Goes back to the game. What a dumpster fire for like the last 48 hours. Just everybody's just like, Ray! Oh man,
it's a
so
tire
ridiculous.
fire. You don't try to put it out. You just step back and
No, you just add fuel to it. That's all you can do at that point. You just kind of feed the flames.
Make it burn fast.
Yeah, just make it burn faster, and then short sell your ass off the next week. I mean, that's just how you do it. You gotta be a shark or you're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
Speaking of sea creatures, my friends showed me this old video from like the 70s of these guys who ended up placing dynamite inside of a beached sperm whale to try and get rid of it.
Oh yeah, and it went everywhere. That was like in Norway or something, like a little town, and the town mayor was like, "Well, we voted on it. It was like 6 out of 10 said yes, so we're gonna do it." And then they packed this whale filled with
dynamite
C4 and just blow
did
it
you
up.
see that they
shit everywhere?
Like I like
this is in Oregon.
I like to think someone in that city council. I like to think someone in that city council was just like,
I found
"Are you
it.
fucking stupid? Why do you think this is a good idea?"
And the rest of them are just like, the rest of them are just like, come on, man, it's gonna be funny. Let's watch.
Here,
just
my favorite,
like gore and guts. Like,
you know what my favorite part about that was? My absolute favorite part? There was still like half of the whale left. It didn't even blow up. They ended up having to bury it anyway.
Oh my gosh.
It's an History Channel. I just posted.
I mean,
History Channel, yeah.
At that point, you might as well wait At that point, you might as well wait for Hancock to just throw the whale back in the water. That's a more realistic approach to how that could have been solved.
Or, just pack it with more dynamite. Fuck it, why not?
I mean, that is also the answer.
May as well commit to the bit at this point.
And then, what's it called? Monty Python's Flying Circus did a bit like this, where they. It's so ridiculous.
Oh my god!
Only had a whale of a problem on its hands.
Whoa!
Okay, so did they...
I just love the fucking snark of this report.
And he sounds like Hank Hill from freaking King of the Hill.
He's just playing it
I'll
straight.
tell you what.
Well, that's one big whale on the side of the beach to tell you what.
They had a whale of a problem.
You know what you should have done instead of dynamite? You should have used propane.
Okay, so why
Propane and propane accessories.
It's God's gas.
That's the queen
Unlike-
of the whale right there.
Unlike the gas building up in that whale.
The whale just goes everywhere.
Okay, whose idea?
It crushed the Cadillac. One of the chunks crushed the Cadillac.
True democracy at work, ladies and
I mean,
gentlemen.
what do you expect
Well, it is
when you
Oregon.
blow up a giant hunk of flesh? Like, it's just gonna go everywhere and destroy everything.
Okay, so was that supposed to go different?
I would have brought a bottle of Jack and sat on the thing and grilled some brats, but I would have had umbrellas because I know it was coming down out of the sky.
You know how people go to SeaWorld and they wear like the rain jackets when Shamu's doing the splash and shit? That's you. It's like, wait, before you start. Okay. All
There
right.
you go. Let me crack a
All
beer
right,
and then
begin.
You got to put the solo cup over the beer so the water doesn't get in the beer.
No, you gotta put like a tiny umbrella in it just to be like a little extra fancy, but at the same time snarky.
Oh, I wish I
Dear
could.
God, there is an exploding whale compilation.
Yeah,
What?
it's well, yeah. So
Well-
whales when they beach, if you don't cut them open, they will explode and they can actually be quite
'Cause
dangerous. They'll send
It's
like
all the
ribs.
gas building up
Yeah,
in them.
they'll send like bits of ribs going at like shrapnel level speeds and
Damn.
like chop people's heads off. So like you have to cut them open and you have to like relieve the pressure, otherwise they will become very, very dangerous.
Wait, so
And
there's
these
really
guys were
an
like, nah,
exploding-
fuck it. Pack more
We're gonna
TNT in
fucking
there.
blow it up. Yeah.
Yo, imagine that's like
Skip
For
the
a brief
middleman,
second.
just blow it up.
There's one
imagine that's how
video-
you died.
There's one video where a guy has to cut open the gut of a whale.
That's an
Did you see
interesting
that one dude
obituary
whose
right
car
there.
got crushed by like a hunk of whale fat?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that's the same one in 1970.
No, I'm saying like
Like,
think of this for a second, all right? Just imagine this, right? I don't know if any of you like religious, but just think of this for a brief second. You're walking near a beach one day. It's out of nowhere. You just go black, like you just lights out. You wake up in heaven. You see Saint Peter standing at the gate, and you're just like, before I enter or whatever, just tell me what happened. So yeah, he like shows you a video of a whale just exploding because a bunch of idiots stuck dynamite in it, and a piece of whale bone just flew at the right moment and took you out.
So, are you sure you want to know? Because
You're gonna know one way or
To
another.
be
Here it
fair,
is. I'd laugh
to
my
be
ass
fair,
off.
that would be an interesting obituary to write right there.
You know what? That sounds like one of those like there are moments
Died
where
due-
I have
Died due to
I have
whale
this
shrapnel.
I have this thing where it's like there are times where the universe is telling someone they don't want you alive. Like to me, there are deaths
Oh.
like that where it's
Here,
like
check
the
this one out. I'll
universe
put it in
didn't
History
want
Channel.
you. That's one of them.
Oh yeah.
This one shows it being done right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this
That
one
mother,
Sauron.
Like
that
when
poor
when
bastard's office door.
like when someone gets struck by lightning and that's how they die, I'm literally like, I don't want to get too blasphemous here, but I was like, God wanted you out.
Well, what about
Like when you get struck by lightning.
Sauron, how do you interpret your own tombstone getting struck by lightning 3 times?
Oh, God's trying to bring you back.
Or God is just like, fuck you in particular.
No, I've seen Friday the 13th. He's trying to bring you back. He's trying to create his own revenant.
Yeah, this video of the
Oh,
sperm
shit.
whale, and it has the force of like a hand grenade going
yeah.
off like 10 times. And
Dude,
if
when
they don't do that, it will explode and it can send like pieces of bone flying at insane.
Oh,
speed.
Jesus.
Dude,
Hey,
when I first saw that, when it popped, I was expecting like a pop, like a gunshot. Nah,
Like,
it was
everything's
way
boom.
up.
Yeah.
I got a thing for you. Imagine a horror movie where like the whale explodes and it's just a bunch of like parasites just getting on all over people, eating them.
Jesus.
You never know.
Wait a minute, Don't
That
say
dude, that dude in the orange suit. That dude in the orange suit, you know he got a face full of
Sauron,
Smith.
Sauron. Considering the decade that has started here, nothing surprises me anymore.
Oh my
You know-
god, you know, if that happened, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'll finally admit that the last 2 years have been awful.
You know what? Whale explodes and it sprays out hordes of hungry man-eating piranhas. There you go.
No, you know what it is? The flood. That's how it happens.
Oh no.
And the
Well,
orange
shit.
suit right there, he definitely got a face full of whatever came out of that whale. Like
Oh,
whatever
that-
came out of that whale, he got a face full of
That
it.
poor bastard.
Imagine
you mean
getting
the one-
hit- Imagine
you
a
mean the
whale
guy who-
exploding and you getting just decked in the face by one of its testicles.
Oh.
Oh
Wait,
no,
are
imagine
they-
that's how you die. Like the bone flies and just rips through your testicles and you have to sit there and bleed out knowing that the whalebone not
Ah.
only killed you, but it also took away your manhood.
Man, the stink from that thing must be horrible.
Oh
you
yeah.
got boned.
That is a
Smell
definite
is
sign from the
unimaginable.
universe saying fuck
Whoa,
you
whoa,
in
whoa, whoa, whoa,
particular.
whoa, 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 whoa. Dylan, what did you just say?
I said you got boned.
God damn it.
Wow.
I thought I heard that, but I wanted clarification. I was like, maybe I didn't hear that.
No, I said exactly what you thought I said. Okay, so you're talking about the guy who got a face full, the guy in the orange in that one compilation. Because I'm watching the fucking compilation.
Well, the dude, the thing was when you see him through that one video, he's standing directly in front, cutting into the whale, right? In the beginning of the video, they show him off to the side, but I watched the whole thing just now, and he's actually standing in front when he first starts cutting, and I'm like, why are you standing there in front of where this thing is just going to explode? It's going to kill you. I mean, the force is just.
Listen.
Ugh.
Man has a death wish. Let him have it.
Like,
You know what he needs? Dynamite. Lots of it.
lots of dynamite. Yeah.
Somewhere in heaven, an angel was talking to God, and he was like,
if you listen
should
to that
we
video,
really
too,
give him this?
You can hear it ripping
Yes.
open. You can hear it like boom.
The angel's
ugh.
talking to God, and he's like, God, listen, I don't want to seem like I'm questioning you, but do we really need to leave them with a bunch of this explosive stuff? And it's like,
yes, it's the only way they'll learn.
They will learn either through experience or die through experience. Either way,
Okay,
the lesson will be learned.
So does it like build up this gas because it's like just so big, or
No,
so human bodies will do the same thing. Like,
yeah,
if you
it's
go to,
kind of
a
like, you know how
body
like with
farm, it's the
divers,
same thing.
it's like if you go too deep.
No, it's all it is.
resurf-
So when you die, your body starts to eat itself from its bacteria, and bacteria has to, relieve itself. It has to relieve its waste.
All that stuff has to go somewhere.
Yeah, so it just builds up inside. Like if you can like go on YouTube and find videos of body farms where they have dead people who like literally. My wife's yelling at me because of they explode. They literally will pop from the gas buildup just because the bacteria starts to build up, and it starts to build up the gas inside, usually in the abdominal area. And so you'll see like the person's whole abdominal area just like fully expanded, and eventually it'll like breach and pop. It's just because your body starts to liquefy and turn into, the primordial soup.
It gets kind of hot in there too.
But
Very
doesn't
hot. Very hot.
wait a minute,
Cooks
doesn't
itself.
I might be remembering something else, but doesn't like, because you know how like if you resurface too quickly, doesn't that play a factor into it as well?
No, so that's called the bends, and that's I don't know exactly at the top of my head, but basically when you go down so far, your body starts to process oxygen differently at that level of pressure than it does on the surface of the water. And so if you ascend too quickly, your body doesn't have time to adjust, so it starts to process the oxygen in your blood as if it were at a lower pressure, and then the oxygen starts to form bubbles in your bloodstream, and that's what usually kills you.
Right.
Usually what happens is that you get like really, really lots of pain, but the really bad cases will kill you from like a heart attack.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know why I was thinking like they were connected.
There's an official name for. I'm sure somebody could find a Wikipedia thing on it, but that has nothing to do with. This has to do with bacteria giving off gas, methane from eating the whale from the inside out, because everything has. It's usually what happens is the bacteria in your gut, because everybody has bacteria in there. Once you die, your body stops containing it within the gut, and so the bacteria will eventually eat its way out of the gut and then start eating the rest of the body, and eventually so much gas builds up that it just pops.
By the way, the fact that methane was mentioned gives you an idea of what the smell is like.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that. Like the smell that this whale gave off after it popped was probably just horrendous. And the English and the guy in the background, the English accent is like, and it gives off quite a pungent smell. And I'm like, yeah, I bet it was pungent.
Yeah, pungent's kind of putting it lightly.
That's a word. Pungent is a word for sure.
Today's word of the day is pungent.
Pungent. And today's video
the dead whale carcass on the beach gave off a pungent smell.
Well, shit. Now I know how the word's used.
Pungent. The
But
gentleman.
to me, that's one of those where it's like
fucking stinks.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of those where like even if you didn't know exactly what pungent meant, the other words in that sentence.
You know afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
and somebody says that's pungent, you'd be like, yeah, that certainly describes the smell I'm smelling.
No, it's one of those moments where if you hear someone else use pungent for something that clearly is not pungent, you're like, no, you're misusing that word. Yo, man, this trash is kind of pungent. You don't get to talk about pungent. You weren't there.
You didn't smell the mother of all farts.
Oh no!
God's
if you watch that video I posted, when he's cutting, you can hear it ripping.
Oh,
that's God. Hey, that's God's gas right there.
That's God's gas.
Ugh.
Anyway, folks, so on that bombshell, I'm going to have to cut the stream. It's coming up on 11. You guys can hang out as long as you like, of course, but I got to cut the live stream. So I want to thank everyone.
Was this live?
The whole thing was live, yeah.
Yes, it was.
So
The world got to
people get to leave this episode on whale farts. Good night.
Yeah, on
Only
whale
quality
farts.
content here at the Mythoverse.
Nothing but
God's
quality
gas.
from us. All right, folks. Good night. Thanks for watching. I'm going to close off with our promo video, and everyone have a great night. Hey folks, Dan here. I wanted to first of all thank everyone who believes in our shared comic universe through a difficult year last year. It was challenging, but we got a lot done. We had two crowd. Thank everyone who believes in our shared comic universe through a difficult year last year. It was challenging, but we got a lot done. We had two crowd. On second thought, I'm just going to end it here.